So, who wants to learn about archery? I know about archery. Let's see if you guys know about it. Okay, so, hi, I'm the Cosplaying Alchemist, and welcome to, Coffee Time with Tyler. So, archery. What is it? What happened to it? Archery is basically taking a string, putting it on a stick, taking another stick, putting it on that string, pulling back and firing it to something. Whether it be bipedal, quadrupedal, or an animal, or just at a target. Archery was and is somewhat still today a way of life for many people, thousands of people. I myself know somebody who firsthand told me stories of a lot of their friends relying heavily on archery to make ends meet because they would take the meat, sell it, or cook it up on their own. No names will be named, and please do not thank me for not naming any names if the person who does see this video told me these stories doesn't actually see these videos, because, yeah. Anyways, but archery has been heavily regulated as for hunting. It's not really used in war at all. Ever. Really wish it was, though. I could kill a battlefield with some arrows. Also, Kevlar is not arrow-proof. Fun fact. Depends on the poundage and what kind of arrowhead you're using and how far you're shooting from and what kind of bow you're using, but a good chunk of it is probably not going to be arrow-proof. Anyways, so in my country, bows and arrows bow is considered a firearm. Not just a crossbow, not just a compound bow, but any kind of bow is considered a firearm. But you don't need a license to have a bow. You do, however, need one to hunt, which, okay, I understand that. But anyways, moving on. What happened to archery? Why did we lose touch with it? Well, we didn't. The Western culture did. The Eastern culture, like the Middle Eastern area and China and Japan and all those people never forgot the roots of archery. We only forgot about it because of this new thing that came out called guns. Or pew-pews, as I will now be calling them. Why? Because we can't say the G word on YouTube. As far as I know. I don't know. I don't keep up with the rules. Probably should. Anyways, so after the invention of the pew-pew and the pew-pew powder, we never really got back in touch with archery. We kind of just let it die off. And that was a shame because archery was fanatic. Archery was amazing. Archery is still good, but it's watered down compared to what we used to do with it. So, like, there's this guy on YouTube, Lars something or other, who taught Taron Egerton, who played Robin Hood in the 2018 Robin Hood movie, how to shoot a bow with proper style and etiquette for what would be back then. But I think there's somebody at my door. Comment down below if you see anyone. Yeah, I didn't see anybody either. Also, why are you commenting? I've already scanned the area. But yes, so that is it's a shame because archery is good. Archery is fun. And archery does help a lot of people deal with a lot of issues. For me, it's a good way to deal with anxiety because I can pull back and fire and I get a good cardio workout and then get a good arm workout. Also, bow archery today is also watered down. So there's a lot to a bow. There's the limbs, there's the belly, there's all this and that. But let's focus on the terminology, draw weight and length. So draw weight is the amount of poundage you put behind the bowstring to actually fire the bow. So 30-pound draw weight is equivalent to 30 pounds of pressure that you're pulling back on the string on. And there are not just like this style or this style of pulling back the string. There's so many of them, and I'm still trying to figure it out. One of them is actually wrapping your middle finger around it, holding the string, and pulling back. And I want to do all this. I want to learn how to do archery a little more intricately. And how am I going to do that? Well, I myself will be getting a horse-style Mongolian bow. So there are different kinds of bows. There's a compound, there's a recurve, the compact, and the longbow. The crossbow doesn't count in my head. Anyways. Oh, and the horse bow, of course. So anyway, so the longbow is good for long distances and for power. But things about 6 feet tall and pretty damn hard to carry around in the middle of a fight. The compound bow is roughly is about the same, but it's also has a little more power behind it because of how the limbs are. Now, I can't go into detail on that. If you want to, check out a YouTube video. I can't find it, and I really don't have time to edit this damn video because I don't even know how to edit videos. Anyways, so a short bow is basically a longbow's baby brother, and it's good for beginners. It's about 15-pound draw weight-ish, depending. It doesn't go past 20. I promise you that. Anyways, so now we get to the composite bow. A composite bow is basically a reflexive bow with a bit of recurve in there. Compound bow, it's the metal ones with all those pulleys and levers and the handle and all the bells and whistles. What is a horse bow? Well, a horse bow is basically a compact bow, but it's designed to be ridden on horseback. I will repeat, designed to be shot off horseback. And there's a whole different way of loading it and reloading it when you're on horseback. But also, it's really cool, too, because it's off-the-knuckle shooting. Actually, all bows back in the day were off-knuckle shooting. What is off-knuckle shooting, you ask? Well, thank you, Tyler. I'm delighted you ask. So basically, hold on, actually, I have an allegory for this. So basically, here's my bow. This is what would be considered the handle. Off-knuckle shooting would actually be taking your arrow, putting it right on your knuckle, pulling back, and firing. Now, we do not do this nowadays. Why? Because fletchings nowadays are made out of plastic. Fletchings, those are the feathery things on the back that allow the arrow to fly a bit more straight than normal. There's a whole thing about Archer's Paradox. I'll link that video. It's by a guy called Smarter Every Day. Anyways, so long story short, Archer's Paradox is explaining how an arrow pointed in the opposite side of where the target is, how it gets to the target. Basically that. Anyways, where was I? I forget. Oh yeah. So anyway, so fletchings back. I am so sorry. So fletchings back in the day were actually made out of feathers, real authentic feathers that you would get off a goose, a chicken, mostly a goose, sometimes a bird of other, sometimes other aviation birds. Really wondering how an Australian feather would work for a fletching. Anyways, there's minimum always 3, sometimes 1. It depends on the style of the fletching. There are different ways and different shapes and different styles of fletching, such as there are different arrowheads. We'll talk about arrows another day, but right now let's talk about the bow. You gotta maintain your bow. Now, back in the day, they did not have access to fiberglass. Now, fiberglass put onto wood is a good way to stabilize the bow and make sure it lasts longer. But back then, they didn't have access to it. They used rawhide, is what I'm guessing. If you guys don't know what rawhide is, basically I think, I could be wrong on this, I do believe it is untreated hide, like leather from a cow. Like, they took it, they tanned it, but they didn't really do anything with it after that. And that's the cool thing. So, if y'all want to get archery, start off with a small bow, 15-pound draw weight, or if you have your own design of bow that you want to try out, see if it exists. Buy it. Don't buy a pre-owned bow. Also, try to maintain it. Bowstring wax is good to make sure the string lasts a long time. Always take care of the bow. De-string your bow before you set it away, because that can mess up everything about it. The mechanism, the inner workings, everything. Except a compound bow. You can't really de-string a compound bow. That's the only exception to the rule. But do keep still bow string waxing your bows, your bow arrow, your bow strings. Wow, I am out of it today. Anyways, that's it for this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what your favorite bows are from history. I'll be seeing you.